Or it's just
Call it back.
And at 5:45 in the morning.
Full day when you ride.
I know the only flight out of
I took a
Ecuador
nap.
that I was able to take was at 1:15 a.m.
It's a good trip though, I like Buenos Aires.
How do you just spend the night?
You got a day and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Get in the morning,
Yeah.
you got all day, you spend the night, you got all day, and then you leave the next night. It's a 4-day trip, but you leave at 11 o'clock on the night on the first day, and you're back home at 6 a.m. on the fourth day.
See, there's a lake on the town or what?
Look on the other side of the globe, there's Thailand. It's halfway.
Almost.
Checking to make sure you left that gate open.
Oh, well, Tink was able to make it up, I didn't know she could make it up the stairs.
No problem.
Yes, I figured.
I
you
just
know,
remember, I looked up.
Oh, yeah,
It's
no, it
it's
was,
open.
yeah, I saw it. Just didn't know you were that sissy. No, I didn't know you were that sissy.
Okay, 4 o'clock. Close enough. Regular Board of Directors meeting called to order. We'll have the reading of the minutes of the March 22nd meeting. Do you have any comments or changes?
No, sir.
Good, you want to record?
Oh, what? Record.
Larry Richards started. He forgot to record it.
And we'll start all over.
Somebody's gonna have to transcribe all of this now. All right, we'll start all over, meeting called to order. We'll, now that the recorder's working. Board minutes, meeting minutes of the 22nd of March. Are there any changes or corrections?
No, never
No,
mind.
sir.
May I entertain a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept as written.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? So done. There was a special meeting, minutes of April 18th. Called to order at 1 p.m. by Mr. Blackburn, Vice President presiding. Are there any changes or discussion, changes to make in this?
Nope.
No, sir.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? So done. Comments from the public is next. Mr. Howard Williams,
No, sir.
no comment.
No comment.
Robert, comment?
No, just keep up the good work in Fairway Village.
We've had enough work over there.
You're
sewer-
keeping the
The sewer
unemployment
lines,
down.
you mean? You're
Yes.
talking about all the sewer lines, yeah?
Oh, I'm telling you.
Richard?
No, sir.
Tim Goodman?
No.
Well, that does that. Be no comments from the public. On to the next item, review the bookkeeper's report.
We got all these refunds we had, are those people moving out?
Yes, finals and refunds, yes.
Gee, that's the biggest list we've had in a while.
Order for sale signs up
Where's his report? There's no water report. Yeah, give us a.
Your cough.
I didn't make it worse, I just gurgled. If anyone ever wants to know, these are all open to the public, all you gotta do is request a copy. And if anybody ever wants to see one of the bookkeeper's reports, what we get is a monthly breakdown of expenses, checks that we've written, and revenues. Have you run a survey lately of any homes that are still not being worked on, or vacant, not being worked on, it look like they're gonna be abandoned?
Not lately, we haven't, no.
What about the ones with, the report we gave with no water service for the month, how many?
That was about 100, just under 100,
Just under 100?
about 99.
What's that?
He said just under 100 didn't buy any water last month.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some of the homes that are vacant that are still getting service. They don't want to shut it off, because they want to be able to use it when they
They're not
want,
using
or they
it,
want
they're
to
not
water
using
their
it.
grass, but there's actually nothing going to the house. But they're still paying for the minimum service.
I got you. We're still looking at probably losing somewhere between 100 and 200 homes,
So far.
depending upon what the county, state, and feds do about buyout.
You know, there's still a few of them fighting insurance companies too.
Pardon?
There are a few of them fighting insurance companies.
Oh, yeah, well,
Lori Kirkus just
that's
had
gonna
to
be a problem anyway.
20 people.
People wanna,
Refund this month, so I guess they just got up and left.
anyway, it's just pointing out what we've talked about in previous meetings, that it looks like we're gonna have reduced revenues. Not only from a tax standpoint, but also from a water and sewer revenue standpoint. The administrative reports, any comments on those? I have one. There's been some comment about lost water. The amount we lost in March was 1.58%. Now, if you consider what we use for PD, or positive displacement meters, which are only accurate of plus or minus 2%, and that's if they're good and in new condition. That's it, even below that, so. How many credits do we have? About 300 million?
Yeah, it's on there.
Probably 300 and,
Notice one page right there.
Pardon?
270 million.
no, credits, about 362 million. Somewhere around in there.
Yeah. I say you got this monthly GRP
Yeah,
report.
it's got your monthly report on it.
Well, that's the consumption.
And I just wondered I know what that is. I brought up the point where how many credits do we still have?
We haven't used any, so we should still have them all.
Well, we're not using it, but we're not into the season when we would use it
I know,
either.
right now, you're gonna, But we didn't use any last year.
But this is a yearly, remember now, this is an average yearly number
Yeah,
that we're faced with. And the fact that EPUD now is out using us in water is another factor that we're gonna have to face one of these days and see.
if we lose 200 houses, they'll have more than we got.
Well, they won't have more, but
Yeah, right.
we'll be almost equal again. We'll be almost equal.
Because they're about 60.
And you know that the tri-party agreement comes up for renegotiation next year. And that'll be a contentious item, I think, from everything I'm led to believe. Any other questions about the administrative reports?
No, sir.
That's pretty much.
All right, I have before me,
Look at this tax report.
which one?
The report of taxes collected this year. We're running $43,000 behind last year. We figured that's about all we would be for the whole year. If we don't, last month, we took a hit of 38,000, less than we had the previous year, based on what people are paying. We figured we'd be down about 44,000 a year, but looks like we're gonna be down closer to over 50.
Huh?
And just
Hey?
people not paying taxes.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. The reappraisal's gonna be one of them. It's gonna be even worse when you get through the reappraisal. Plus the fact you got an older population out here that may be deferring their taxes.
I guess probably could. We figured we'd be down about 40 for the year, but looks like we're gonna be down closer to maybe 60. Based on,
It is what it is, and we're a,
I'm sure a lot of them walked away, and if they aren't paying, they just walked away from the house out there.
well, you gotta understand that the flood probably created some of this
Well,
problem.
I'm talking about, it's just saying, the houses are empty, so they're not paying their taxes. They just walked away from the house.
Yeah. The next item on the board agenda is to discuss / approve the appointment of a new director to serve the remaining term of the resigned director, Ginger Seifling. We received a notice of resignation from the board from Virginia. She has recently experienced some serious health problems. And,
She doing all right?
pardon?
Is she doing all right?
She's out of the hospital.
That's okay.
But she's like the rest of us, Mark. She's getting older. You know.
I think she's finally made a decision.
And she's wanting to go home, and she's wanting to move, and,
She's finally gonna make the decision. to move.
yeah. And, she's gonna move up with her daughter up in Oklahoma City. Anyway. You given this thought, and are there any nominations from any of you?
Well, Ginger talked to me, and,
Pardon?
I said, Ginger talked to me the other day, and she suggested, we nominate Bob Smith, since he's familiar with the board, he's been on the board before.
Are you making that nomination?
I'll make the nomination, we appoint Bob Smith.
Is there a second to the nomination?
I'll second it.
Are there any other nominations coming forward? I move the question then. All in favor of Bob Smith?
Have we talked about, does he want?
I don't know, he was here.
He's here.
Oh, there he is. I see him, he's behind the big man.
Yeah, we've been talking.
Bob, would you accept if they elect you?
Sure.
Okay. Then I call the question. All in favor of Bob Smith as being appointed the new director, please say aye.
Aye.
Bob, you're elected.
Okay.
Come up here and take your seat. Do you have to swear him in?
Yes, sir.
course, you've been sworn out before, haven't you?
I've been
You've
sworn
been sworn
at
in and sworn out.
multiple times.
Make sure I don't get this right. Okay, this is the oath of office,
Okay?
so repeat after me. I,
I,
Bob Smith,
Bob Smith,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that I
swear
will fully execute the office duties
I will fully execute the office duties
of Director of the River Plantation Municipal Utility District
as Director of the River Plantation Municipal Utility District
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability preserve,
and with the best of my ability, preserve,
protect, and
protect,
defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Take a seat over here next to the sick people.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, another item for discussion is a statement to the public. Rather than me read all of this, Ed, would you,
Okay. This is a letter,
rather than me cough and carry on with it?
letter,
We could, do you have extra copies of this, by the way? To where we could leave them out on there to where,
I can make some.
well, I'm just, we don't have any now?
No.
Proceed.
okay, this, dated April 20th, 2018. It says at March 22nd, 2018 board meeting, information was requested on the following items related to Water Well 3. Cost of the project, the source of funding for the project, and justification for the project. The cost of the project. The cost to drill the well number 3 was approximately $428,000. The cost of the water treatment plant was approximately $750,000. The source of funding for the project, Water Well 3, was funded by a bond issued in August 1994, and the bond has since been paid off. Funding for the water treatment plant came from general maintenance tax and general revenues from the district. Justification for the project, because none of the present board members were on the board when the decisions were made for Water Well 3 and the water treatment plant, we cannot give any insight into the board's decision on these projects. However, we can consider the specification significance of our wells and look at the total benefit to the district because of the previous board's decision to complete well number 3 and the water treatment plant. One of the main goals of the water district is to provide safe drinking water, and another goal is to have redundant systems in place to minimize the loss of water service to the district. 2, Water Well 3 was needed because if Water Well 2 was lost, Water Well 1, a very low volume well, could not provide water to the district. Accordingly, an additional well would be necessary to provide water to the district if Water Well 2 was offline. The treatment plant for Water Well 3 was needed to provide redundancy for the total water system. Before the water treatment plant at well number 3 was installed, the water from well 3 and 2 were processed by one treatment plant. If water treatment plant would fail for any reason, it would cause the loss of water production for both wells 2 and 3. Because the water from well 3 could not be processed for use in the district. Again, because Water Well 2 was low volume, it could not provide required water for the district. One. The current board feels that the past board made the correct decisions in adding a water treatment plant for well number 3. The district now has a redundant system which provides a much needed safety factor for the district. Since Water Well 3 and the treatment plant were added, the district has greatly benefited during natural disasters. The district has not lost water service and has continued to provide clean, safe water in the worst of times. Providing clean water during these times and during the everyday demand of our district would not be possible without a water treatment plant at all 3 water wells. The board feels that the decision of the previous board were proper and the project were required by the district to supply a redundant water system. Funding for the projects were under the normal guidelines allowed by the state of Texas. The board feels that no additional investigation is needed, and the board feels the matter is closed.
I'd like to add one little item. The fact that there was nobody on this board that was there and that was about 5 minutes ago.
Well, it was as of April.
I know, I'm just making a point though. You were there at the time they made those decisions, am I correct?
For
The water well number 3 surface facilities.
94.
No, he wasn't on the 92.
No, the surface facilities for the water
The
well
vote.
number 3 was
Yeah,
done
you were,
in
you were on it.
07 and 08, 2007 and 8. You were there.
Yes, I was.
I think so.
Okay, but when the letter was written April 20th,
That's right. You weren't a member. You weren't a director. I understand. Anyway, we have talked to 2 water well contractors about a replacement well for well number 2. And as suspected, we're in the $1.2 million range. And that's just to drill the well. And if we drill it in the same spot, most likely, or I would recommend that we build up that whole area, probably 2 to 3 feet. And before we did anything else, before we drilled the well, built anything, we would use the existing facilities, but we'd raise them up. Anyway, I'm going to recommend that at this next meeting that you proceed to the engineer and get him to write up some specs about making same, drilling the well. And is there a deadline on who owns that property still there in that area? You or the prospective owner?
what property? You own the well.
We own the well, I know, but the property around the well.
I don't know.
I'd like to discuss whoever owns the property around the well for additional, for some additional room.
I thought Richard said we own,
We own the road,
we own the road.
and we own, I don't know whether we own or we just leave it, but we own the site where well number 2 and the facilities are.
Right, but you're talking about.
I'm talking about we're
You
gonna
want-
have
you
to
want-
put a second well.
You want to drill closer to the road.
I'm wanting to drill fairly close to the road if we can, because it's higher. The further toward the road we get, the higher we get.
Yeah, it's hard.
It just alleviates one of the problems that we have.
But we don't know who owns it. We don't know if we
Well,
own it.
no, and it's, from everything that I hear, it's sort of in limbo, so, and we may never know. But let's proceed. It's not gonna make the contractor any difference whether he drills 100 feet, whichever direction that is along that road, one way or the other.
How close to the old well?
I would
Can we
prefer, from an engineering standpoint, to stay as far away as we could. That's from an engineering standpoint.
Right.
It's not a necessity. In other words, it doesn't preclude you drilling another well. But what it will cause is probably more sand and everything else coming into the wellbore, because there's already been a lot of excavation around there. That's one of the reasons we've got that screen is it has been eroded and, as I understand, has been sandblasted pretty bad. Cut up, is that correct? From the telecopy that you ran?
Well, you talking about the insert?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's an insert in there, stainless steel insert.
yeah. And so we're restricted in that, and all I'm trying to do is get away from it to prevent additional sand coming in. Now, there's gonna be that happen, that's gonna happen. It's just that I wanna, have it at a minimum. And the further away we can get, the better off we are. If we can't get any further, it's not gonna, it won't negate the project.
Would digging deeper or directionally or something be
Uh,
a case?
Yeah, we could drill directionally, but it just costs more. You know,
Well,
we could drill quite a bit directionally, but, we would have to know who owns the land and where we were going and so forth, so on. And if we go toward the tee box, if we were to drill toward the tee box on number 7,
so,
So,
8.
that would be going down dip.
7 green and 8.
Okay.
8
8
That would be
grade,
going down dip.
7 grade and 8 T-box.
So you would be going down dip there, and you would have to go deeper and so forth, and you would be subject to more, if you went too deep, you'd have saltwater
I think
incursion,
as well too,
okay?
1,300 feet.
1,300 feet. Kill-
Otherwise, you want to drill, if you did it directionally, you'd want to go the opposite direction.
Yeah,
You'd want to go toward the tee box of number 8,
right.
okay?
Yeah, you get-
Because
you get
then you
front.
would be going up dip to the formations, and you would be getting away from the saltwater encroachment.
Are we gonna have to go that deep with a new one, or do you think we can get something?
How deep does the salt water start picking up?
I don't know that we've hit saltwater here yet.
No, not yet.
He said
And that is, that's not a problem if we were to go, let's say 1,500 feet, we can always set a cement plug back up.
You think saltwater's at 1,500?
I don't know where it is. I'm just saying, if we decided to go, there are lenses down there. Look, our water lenses are like this. They're shale, sand, shale, sand, shale, sand. And they do like this, coming from an up dip to a down dip situation. They thicken, they thin, they peter out. They're like pancakes in a lot of places. They're just laid out there. It's an old shoreline, if you want to look at it in that way. And there's creeks and rias that have cut through that old shoreline. Okay? And what happened is that we got fresh water in there, and then we had the uplift, if you will, or subsidence down here, which was basically the case, because everything is a down to the coast fault. And we had fresh water caught here with salt water down here. Now, if there's communication, the salt water is going to migrate. That's what happens in Baytown in Houston, and a lot of their water wells. Anyway, that's geology and engineering.
Do we have any type of survey of?
We have well logs of our 3 wells plus wells around us.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if there's any deeper than 1,300 feet.
Not in our area.
Yeah. So, it's something that we'll let Blau and them worry about to begin with before I stick my ugly face in it.
Now, who do we have to go to find out who owns the land?
Well, you do a land check.
That'd be a good start to find out.
Yeah, yeah. But I think we know who used to own the land. Okay? The question is, does he still own the land?
Right.
So, when that question gets answered, I think that's when you'll know. Okay?
I think we should proceed.
Well, like I say, we could proceed on what we've got. I'm
Next
suggesting
month.
to the board that that's what we do, yes. If somebody wishes to make a,
I do. I'll make a motion that we discuss this hopefully after we get more information next month.
okay. You want to make you know, if it's a land situation, we can always call a meeting just to discuss it.
No, I just think we need to.
It's all
we need
gonna
to get
take
on a
time.
motion. We need to get a motion for discussing next month.
How do you wanna word the motion?
We have a need for replacement or.
Well, we make a motion that next we discuss the need and the requirements to replace well number 2. That'd be the motion, so that people that are interested in well number 2 will be sure to be here. We don't want to be discussing something tonight that people don't have, you know, an area to come in and listen to. So we'll make that motion, I make that motion that we would do it, you know, discuss the possibility of replacing well number 2 next meeting, next regular meeting.
I'll
Is
second.
there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, in favor?
Aye.
So passed. Are there any other matters to come before the board?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
So do we.
You better go home and get some medicine.
Yeah, medicine for a week.
Should've told me, I brought you some good cheap stuff from overseas.
Some of the cheap stuff out there from overseas, I wouldn't want to bring back home.
You know,